there's something I want us to take note of. When you are drafting a trouser that is going to have pockets, you have to make sure that the trouser is as free as possible. So when you want to measure for that type of trouser, what you do is when you are measuring the hip of the person, after you measure the hip round, okay, my hip round here is 39, okay. So what you want to do is to add about 4 inches allowance to this 39 inches, okay, just for free movement and so that the hand can easily move inside the pocket, okay. And the second thing you want to do is when you are measuring the tie here, the first thing you do, first let the tie, let it be close to the body. Let it be close to the body like this, just like the way you measure the hip, okay. We have 22.5 here. So what you want to do as well is to add 4 inches allowance to it, okay, for free movement. And you are going to do the same thing to the knee, okay. Here we have 12.5. What you want to do is to add another 4 inches ease allowance, okay. We call it ease allowance. So that's the first thing I want us to take note of before we start drafting the waistband, the zipper fly and the inseam pocket. Let's get started. So now we are going to be drafting the trouser from the beginning. So this is our margin line. Okay, so we start by measuring. Now first thing, I measure 1.5 inches to get this straight line. And the second thing I did is to measure the paper from here to here, okay, then divide what we have by 2 and get the middle of the paper. That is what I've done on this paper. So the next thing we want to do now, all our measurement is going to be starting from this line, okay. So you want to come here and measure your lower waist. Remember that if you are not drafting an high waist trouser, your trouser should start from your lower waist, or you ask your clients where they want their trouser to be, okay. So mine is starting from the lower waist on my mannequin. So my lower waist to hip is 8 inches, okay. So you want to mark the 8 inches across. Okay, then you want to divide from here to here, that 8 inches, you want to divide it by 2, which is going to give us 4. So you mark the 4 from here, you measure your 4. That's going to serve as our upper hip line, okay. So you get your straight line. Then you do the same thing here. Oh, sorry about that. My marker shifted. Okay, so we have the hip line here. Okay, then we have the upper hip line. Okay, so the next thing you want to do now is to measure your crotch line. Okay, um I think we've done so the next thing you want to do is to measure your crotch line. My crotch line is from here downward 11 inches. We are measuring our crotch line now. Okay. Okay, so now on this crotch line, label crotch line. Okay, on your crotch line, remember we measure our thigh, so you are going to divide your thigh divided by 4. Okay, my thigh is 27, so 27 divided by 4. 27 divided by 4, we have 6.75. So from this line, okay, this is our guideline, you are going to measure 6.75 to the front. From here, you are going to measure another 6.75 to the back, okay, like so. From this line, you measure your 6.75, then another 6.75 to the back. Okay, so the 6.75 from here to here, you are going to measure the same thing at this line. From here to here, you measure the 6.75. Okay, then you are going to draw a straight line. Get a straight line. Like so. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is the hip divided by 4. Okay, we are going to be dividing our hip by 4. The hip I have here is 43 divided by 4. So the hip divided by 4 that I have here, my own hip divided by 4 is 10.75. So the hip divided by 4, you are going to be measuring it from this line. Okay, from this line to the front. From this line to the front. Okay, so here 10.75. And you do a straight line. Okay, then next thing you want to do is to draw the crotch. Now to get the curve of the crotch, from the hip line on this line, okay, you are going to come up by 0.5. 0.5. Then from this 0.5 to this place, you are going to connect. Okay. Okay, so the next thing is to move to our waistline of the trouser. So the first thing you want to do now, to measure our waist, the waist is going to be measured from this line backward. Do we understand? From this line backward. not from here to the front, from this line backward. So the hip I have, I mean the waistline I have here, my waist round is 27. 27 divided by 4, that's 6.75. So you are going to measure the 6.75 from here to the back. Then you are going to be adding your dart allowance. I'm going to be using a 0.5 for this dart allowance, so that's 1 inch. Okay, so I'm going to add the 1 inch. Okay, then I'm going to be connecting that to my hip line with the curve ruler. Okay, you can see it's coming out. So this line is not part of it anymore. Okay, this is where our trouser is starting from. Okay, then the next thing is to measure the dart. Okay, so you want to measure what you have from here to here and divide it by 2. Okay, I'm having 7.3 here, 7.6 sorry here, so that's going to be 3.6. Okay, so my dart is going to be stopping by 1.5 below the upper hip line, so I'm going to be measuring the 1.5. Okay, then I'm going to take this measurement here, take it down straight. Okay, then measure 0.5 on both sides of this line for the dart, and then connect them to here. Okay, so this is our dart. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do now is to take, I'm going to be making, since we are just making the band, the inseam pockets and the zipper flyer, we are just going to be making a short trouser. Okay, so we are just going to be taking this measurement that is here, just take it down like so. Okay, okay, so that is it. So the first thing we want to do now, okay, is to measure our zipper flyer. Okay, so our zipper flyer is going to be stopping at remember we are still going to be cutting away the band. Okay, so our zipper flyer is going to be stopping at 1 inches below the upper hip line. Okay, okay, that's 9 inches. So but 1 inches below the upper hip line, I mean 1 inches below the hip line, not the upper hip line. So you want to take this line across to the front like so. Okay, then you want to measure 1.5 inches from this line 1.5 inches, okay, then 1.5 inches up. Then you connect this line. You can see the line. So you are going to use this curved part of the ruler, okay, to just curve this part. Just watch what I'm doing. So you are just going to curve it like so. You can see how it is. Okay, so I'm going to tell us how we are going to do it later. So the next thing we want to do now is our the inseam pocket. Okay, your pockets always start from, especially inseam, when you are doing inseam pockets, not even inseam, when you are doing any pockets for maybe skirt, trouser, it always starts from 2 inches below your lower waist. Okay, so we are going to be measuring 2 inches from the top line at the side seam. Okay, this is the 2 inches here. Okay, then from that 2 inches we are going to be measuring 5.5 inches. Okay, so this 5.5 inches, just take this, just mark a line maybe about 0.5 or 1 inch, just a little line like so. Okay, then from there measure 1.5 inches. Okay, so now the next thing you want to do, you can see this curved part of this ruler, this area that looks like thumb, that's what we are going to be using. Just watch what I'm doing now. Okay, so I'm going to be taking it like the way it is. Okay, then I'm going to be placing it, okay, on that last line. Okay, then I'm going to be drawing it the way it is, the way the curve is, to that 1.5 that we came down with. Do you see the way it is? Then you are going to be measuring what you have from this line. Okay, from here to here, measure what you have there and divide it by 2 and mark the middle line. Okay, so you just mark the middle line. I've marked the middle line. So you want to continue from this curve, you want to continue to use this curve part to connect from that place to connect from here to this place. Okay, so watch what I'm doing. So you are going to connect it like so. You see, then from this upper hip line, okay, from the upper hip line you are going to come up by 1.5 inches as well on this straight line. Okay, then from this line, you know, remember we came down from the waistline to this place, we came down by 2 inches. So from these 2 inches you are going to be using this side again, from this side this way, to connect these 2 lines together, here and here. Okay, we are going to connect it like so. Okay, do you see? Then from there you are still going to be using this side again to connect this place to this middle line. So these 2 places where we are going to connect now. So you connect it. Okay, so this curve this way. This is our inseam pocket. Okay, then the last thing on this place is the waistband. The waistband, there's no need, you can close your dart and you can decide not to close it. So the waistband is always 1.5 or 4 centimeter. Okay, so you are just going to be measuring from the side seam here. Okay, from the top, measure your 1.5. Okay, 1.5. You are going to measure it to the zipper fly. Okay, so just connect your lines. Okay, so actually I always like to close my darts whenever I'm doing this. So after you have done this, just close the darts and redraw the straight line for the waistband. Okay, because when you close the line, when you close this, it's not going to be okay. I think this is straight, so you can see. So this is our waistband. We are going to be cutting this waistband away.